Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world right now listening to this. I am Simon from Simon Says Sports on the Twitter webs, and I am bringing you only the Texas Longhorns football talk, news, nuggets, and updates this tonight because it's Sunday here and I've got to go to work tomorrow, and I really want to get this out to all y'all fans out there of the Texas Longhorns. My goodness, that's why I'm tired and I've just had a coffee. So hopefully I'm in a weird, tired, happy buzz right now, so bear with me. I'm trying to get through it. Oh, God, no, not that at all. Yes, I'll get there eventually. Thank you, crowd, but there is no crowd here. So let's get straight down to it, guys. All right, so first of all, the champs of the belts. Yes, that's right. Brandon Jones has won the lightweight belt. PJ Locke had won it last week, the shutdown nickel. But this week it's over to the freshman, Brandon Jones. He's won the lightweight belt. And Trent Nicholson on the offensive line has won it. Not one, not two, but 3 times the heavyweight champion. 3 weeks in a row. Congratulations, Trent Nicholson. Now, for those of you fans of Texas, or not fans of Texas, but listening to this, the belt is awarded to the player who is putting in the most work in the weight room and just pushing themselves every single week and doing everything that's asked of them and really proving themselves. So the players get a belt, and it's either lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, and they get to hold on to that belt until the next round of the week, until they do it all again. And whoever's been working out the best that whole week in the weight room gets that belt. So that's awesome news right there. I'm going to go on to the more important things. And I'm going to start with... Yeah, there's an eerie pause there. Wait for it. Sophomore linebacker Malik Jefferson. You know why I'm starting with him? Because he has been getting the accolades over the last 2 weeks like there is no tomorrow. I'm just going to run through exactly what he's been given so far. So Malik Jefferson has been named to the 2016 preseason watch list for the following. The Walter Camp Player of the Year Award goes to the most outstanding player. So he's been nominated for that as the preseason watch list. On top of, he had already been announced on the watch list for the Bednarik Award, the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, and the Butkus Award. So that one goes to, obviously, the best linebacker in the nation. Last year's winner in 2015 was obviously Notre Dame's Jalen Smith, who's now in the NFL. The Bednarik Award, if you didn't know, is the best defensive player. But it's also, that one's given by head coaches and writers. They nominate who's been given that award. And the Bronco Nagurski Award is the top defensive player, but that's also nominated at the end of the season by the Football Writers Association. So 4 big-time awards for the sophomore linebacker Malik Jefferson, who just continues to heap praise from all over the country. After really a freshman campaign where it was up and down. I mean, he only really started 9 games out of the 12, simply because he then got banged up and he was on and off in the last few games. He didn't play in the Baylor game at all. And so Malik was a bit banged up. So if you kind of think what the potential for this player is going to be, the ceiling is not even high enough to say that's where he's going to get, because this guy is going to be in the NFL in 2 more years. He really is. He's going to do his sophomore campaign this year. He'll do his junior campaign this year, and then do not be surprised if he enters the draft and he will go a first-round pick if he keeps on this trajectory and the way he's playing now. So, I mean, I'm going to run through the stats that he had in his freshman campaign and the awards that he won during that campaign, and you can kind of go with, where his ceiling is going to be and how great of a player for Texas he is going to be. So in the 9 official games that he started in, he recorded 61 tackles, 6 quarterback pressures, and 7 tackles for loss. Yeah, he's a freshman. in a defense that was struggling. One of the worst defense Texas has ever had. Actually, in fact, in 2015, it was the worst run defense Texas has ever had. So Malik Jefferson is getting accolades on part of one of the worst defenses. So, he's really going to pick it up this year. But, after last year, he was also voted Freshman All-American by the Football Writers Association, the Sporting News, and USA Today. Sorry, pardon. Again, I'm still struggling with my words today. And USA Today, first team, Freshman All-American. That's the sort of season that he had last year, and that people can see him possibly having again this year. That's why he's being named to all of these watch lists for all these awards. On top of that, 2016, he's also named first team preseason All-American by, again, the Sporting News, and first team All Big 12 performer on that watch list, and Big 12 Conference's preseason Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, they believe that he is going to be the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year this year once all is said and done by the end of the season. So he is on that watch list as that player because he means that much to this team. Now, he would only be the third Longhorn player to win one of these prestigious all Big 12 Player of the Year awards. Only Ricky Williams did it in 1998. If you don't know who Ricky Williams is, he's one of the best running backs ever to be on the 40 acres. And Colt McCoy did it back-to-back in 2008 and 2009. And, of course, that heartbreaking 2009 season when they went to the national championship and lost to Alabama. And Colt McCoy got that terrible injury which knocked him out of the game, and the Horns went on to lose that one. But he's gone back-to-back awards, Offensive Player of the Year awards, 08, 09 for Colt McCoy. So, Malik Jefferson, all I'm going to say, everyone, is watch out for him. He is the leader of the pack, your middle linebacker, but hopefully he's going to be more than a middle linebacker this year. I want to see him roam more around in the middle of that pack and just cause nightmares as well on the edge rushing. He could be a fox. He could be also your strong side linebacker. Look, I'm not even going to get into that right now because I'll get too excited to break down all his film and just where Vance Bedford and that defense could use him this season. So I'm just going to stick to the awards and the updates for you guys today. What else have we got here today? I'm not going to go to the quarterbacks. I'm not going to talk about them because they need their own about an hour episode, and that's probably just talking about Jared Hurd or Shane Bichelle. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to talk about also the running backs. Deontay Foreman and Chris Warren have been named to the Doak Walker watch list. That is for the best running back in the country. Of course, they are joining the likes of some of the biggest running backs in the nation. Semji Piran out of Oklahoma, of course. And obviously, well, I'm not even going to say the guy's name from LSU because we all know who it is. So they're on that watch list, and that's really good because a lot of national respect was not being given to these two players. When you've been looking at a lot of, All-American first team and second team watch lists, those two guys aren't even mentioned. They're not even there. They're not on anything. So, it's good for them to finally get something and be named to the Doak Walker watch list. And I'll tell you why there hasn't been much respect given. First of all, and I hate to say it, but they were second and third fiddle to Jonathan Gray. And Jonathan Gray was given the first team rest because he was the senior. He's paid his dues on that team. And, the coaching staff was a mess last year in offense. Absolute a mess. So, between the second and third reps, Foreman and Warren, we didn't really know what we had until Gray went down with his Achilles injury, which was very, very sad. But at the same time, we need to see what the future was. And, Deontay Foreman is going into his junior year and Chris Warren is going into his sophomore year. Let me just tell you what Foreman's stats are like. And he didn't even... He was a backup. He started very few games and he didn't get a lot of touches because the running game also was a mess last year for the Texas Longhorns. He had he only had 95 carries for 681 yards. That's a 7.2 average. I'm just going to pause on that for a sec. Let that sink in. 7.2 average carry. His longest was 93 yards. He finished with 5 touchdowns. And receiving, he had receiving was 5 of 64, a 12.8 average, and his longest was 22 yards receiving. His longest reception. So, if Foreman can get, let's just say he gets 150. If he's averaging 7.2, let's just say it's 7. He's averaging 7 yards per carry. There's absolutely no reason why, if he starts all 12 games this season, he would be well over 1,000 yards. Now, to complement Deontay Foreman, you got Chris Warren. He's at, look, these two running backs are both built. Chris Warren sits at 6'2", 252, while Deontay Foreman, he is 6'1", 249. They're both absolute juggernauts running through the center of the pack there. Chris Warren had 71. He only had 71 touches for 470, a 6.6 average, a long of 91. So both players having really long bursts there once they break through. So you've got to, that's something that we're going to watch all season. These two players are going to be busting straight through linebackers and into secondary all season long. If they can keep doing these long 80, 90 plus yard runs, Texas is going to be putting up easily 250 to 300 on the ground per game. But anyway, back to his stats. 6.6 average, long 91 and 4 touchdowns. And Chris Warren is going into his sophomore year. Now, I'm going to say, if you haven't seen Chris Warren's run, well, there's multiple runs, but one in particular against Texas Tech at home in Austin, look it up on YouTube right now. Well, not right now. After you get off this podcast and you're listening to me, go check that YouTube clip out and listen to the commentary and just watch him run. He is absolutely a meat axe running through the secondary. He had about at least 3 palms to the face. Defenders were just bouncing off him. Look, he's just a hard guy to tackle. He's fast. His knees are up. He lowers those pads down, and defenders were just bouncing off him left, right, and center. So make sure you look it up. Texas Tech game from last season at home in Austin. 2 more things that I'm going to cover quickly on this one. Offensive line, preseason All Big 12 team. Drum roll. Patrick Vahi, the 6'3", 320 sophomore. Connor Williams, the 6'6", 288 sophomore. Both have been also added to the preseason All Big 12 first team. Now, those 2 players were also nominated on the 2015 end of year All Big 12 team as well as Connor Williams garnishing, I'm cooking now, my goodness, as well as Connor Williams gaining national respect as an All-American team as well, offensive lineman. Last but not least, you can't forget the DBs, because this is DBU after all. Devontae Davis stands at 6'2", 197. He has also been named to the preseason All Big 12 team. So that is great, because we've got Holton Hill and Devontae Davis and Chris Boyd in that secondary. All 3 deserve the national respect, and I'm sure they're going to get it this year. But anyway, that wraps it up for me. Thank you for listening. Y'all have a good Sunday night or Sunday morning if you're in America. Peace. I will speak to you all very, very soon. This has been Simon Says Sports.
There's bar stools and barmaids, a jukebox and a pocket full of change. Just a few of my favorite